no, no, no. Breathe easy. Calm down. Relax. And let everyone else know that I said to calm down and relax. I really don't get what is the problem. I really don't get what is the challenge here. I really don't get what the issue is here. Nobody cares about the foreign venues, quote-unquote, federal level version of quote-unquote PayPal. Nobody cares about the foreign venues, quote-unquote, digital dollar that comes in to Earth years from now. And no one cares about the so-called digital euro that comes in the year after that. Parties need to step back a moment and pay attention. Everything that everyone is crying and complaining about, for the melanated heterosexuals across this planet, we handled that already. 25 Earth years ago. The completion of the Amexem-Moor-Empire Constitution, 60 Earth days after it was completed, ratified by the Amexem-Moor-Empire Imperial Council. You know this. Fractional reserve banking, unconstitutional in the Amexem-Moor-Empire. Credit, unconstitutional in the Amexem-Moor-Empire, because we don't do the usury thing here. Depository system, yes, which is nothing more than secured storage of money. There are no loans made. It's just secured storage. Period, full stop. I really don't get what this issue is here. I don't know. I don't get what folks is doing. Folks had 100+ Earth years of access to be able to read, have comprehension with their reading, to contemplate and discern what they investigate, to focus on having priorities that's practical and sensible. I give honor and respect to my ancestors and my elders. But really and truly, y'all have to calm down. Our ancestors and even my elders, they mean or they meant well. We had 25 Earth years to build upon what was put in place when I completed our Constitution, to not make the mistakes that they made. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught separation. His legacy, the NOI and the lost found NOI, don't know how to do it. No knock. It's the hard reality of what the evidence bears out. No diss. It's just what it is. The ancestor Noble Drew Ali, he had what was called the Moor Science Temple, the Moor Science Temple of America, and all these other iterations thereof, the various grand bodies, as they call them. Same literature, basically worshiping the same man. Peace be upon the ancestor. The ancestor was very clear on particular things. What the ancestor was working on was taking the folk that were 40 years removed from Reconstruction on this side of the ocean and getting them to realize they're not who they've been programmed to think they are. He left them a whole chapter in one of his books on how to create a monarchy. The 29th Sotho. 100 Earth years later, darn near, and they haven't done it yet. He told them, apparently in some oral statements, the Caucasians gonna let y'all down. That means you have 100 years, darn near, to prepare for when it happens. The evidence says They haven't even begun to get a clue on how to do that. No, knock, look at the evidence. This is not a diss, look at the evidence. Take the feelings and emotion out of stuff and deal with the hard reality. Our folks on the other side, almost 70 years since they started removing themselves from overt subjugation to now covert subjugation. Senghor did what he thought was right in his Naga district. Nkrumah did what he thought was right in the Ghana Songhai. Peace be upon both those ancestors. You've had multiple coups across the mother continent because parties were looking to stop particular things from happening that were not favorable in the eyes of those in Londinium and Paris. They still have the superior force of arms, although Mosfa is arming the despots over there. It's a bad mixture on the mother continent right now. She has all the resources, heavily subjugated, covertly. Too many are in on it. And our folks on both sides of the ocean are arguing over blood types. They liquidated or neutralized, that's the soft way of saying they killed Muammar Gaddafi because he wanted to have a single quote-unquote currency as opposed to money backed by the resources in the soil of the mother continent. He was tied back to their system. You have 197 central banks across this planet that have the same owner. I don't care who is in so-called power, alleged power. The one who controls the central bank is the power. Period, full stop. And we have one particular entity that owns 197 central banks and finances both sides of every conflict since I don't know how long. And parties insist on playing into it to this day. And I've trained y'all not to do that. I gave y'all a constitution so you don't have to engage in that level of crazy or any form of crazy from the colonizing hostiles and their melanated puppets. I made it clear from the beginning. We're not making the same mistakes. We won't be doing that. So, in our Constitution, we don't do banks, fractional reserve banking, unconstitutional within the Amexem-Moor-Empire. We don't do credit, unconstitutional in the Amexem-Moor-Empire Constitutional-Monarchy. We're not having that. You cannot artificially create inflation with us. The first thing folks want to do is, if they can't get coups, they want to come in and say, all right, let's see if we can get a way to get them to suspend their constitution. No, under Article 3 of our Constitution, we won't be doing that either. Under Article 3 of our Constitution, under no circumstances, not even war, not natural disaster, not man-made disaster, nothing can be done to suspend, abrogate, or derogate the Amexem-Moor-Empire Constitution. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be right here. And there's always someone in charge. We have a very long chain of command. Both sides of the ocean now. We're not going, we're going to be right here. The Amexem-Moor-Empire is going to grow and expand and grow and expand and improve every step of the way. We train, we plan. We back up plan, we back up plan, we back up plan, and we fund our own work. We do not borrow. We don't have it. We do not get it. We raise the funds until we do have the funds, and then we have to require. No one dictates to us what our internal or external engagements are going to be. We're answerable to no one other than ourselves, our posterity. And we do nothing here to dishonor the memory of those who came before us. But our kith and kindred, and some of y'all have to calm down. And that was good. We have our own global monetary policy. We have our own imperial depository system. We don't need the colonized and hostile stuff. We literally have the means to put in place and operate our own web, internet, and network. It has to be funded. This is the part that amazes me. Our kith and kindred, although they've been heavily merely educated as opposed to being learned, they've been programmed. The colonized and hostiles has them as Western socially engineered droids by default. Not everyone, but just in general. Sad to say, however, the evidence does not lie. It's not an attack. This is a wake-up call. The hard reality is, while they were programmed in all these things, some of them learned trades and vocations. Some of them through school, some through foreign venue military experience. But the knowledge is in their heads, and you don't lose it once you leave. The ancestors have been working to inform the Moorish Zionist temple. They came through. They can only go but so far because they didn't have particular knowledge, wisdom, and comprehension. Noble Droli came behind them with the Moorish Science Temple and its various iterations that are around to this day. Various quote-unquote grand bodies. All of them using the same literature. All of them basically worshiping the same man. He gave them a whole chapter, sort of 29, where they're literally given instruction on how to establish and operate a monarchy. Almost 100 Earth years later, they've never done it. And they won't, and they don't know how, even though it's written in their face. They're heavily encumbered, and many of them mean well. However, they are Western, socially engineered. They just wear a fez or a turban. I love them all. However, we're in an era now, we're in a time frame now where there's no time. So a jack is a jack and a spade is a spade, and the evidence does not lie. The sooner they realize this, they just might get a clue. They might. Some of them are angry with us because what they don't know how to do, we've been doing for 25 Earth years. On both sides of the ocean for the last 10. Honorable Elijah Muhammad came after him, behind him. He taught separation. To this day, the NOI and lost found NOI don't know how to do that. No knock. The evidence, again, does not lie. All of them, Marcus Mazari-Gari's folks, Temple folks, NOI folks, lost found NOI folks, our Hebrew Israelite family, whatever folks call themselves, so-called Hispanic, Sikh, Buddhist, I don't care. The melanated are welcome within the Amexem-Moor-Empire, all across this planet. We have worked hard to make that so. Article 9 of our Constitution is very clear. We don't sanction one faith over the other. I'm Sunni Muslim, almost at a Ramadan. The Grand Wazir is a Hebrew Israelite. We got Buddhists here. We got Seventh-day Adventists here. We got Christians here. A fair amount of folks here from different faiths. Some from NOI. Don't care what your schedule is, what your faith is. We work around all that. Others use it as a wedge. Others use it as an artificial barrier. And we break it down. There are no barriers here. The ocean is no longer a barrier for us. It hasn't been for the last 10 Earth years. Don't worry about their digital surveillance in the form of their quote-unquote digital currency with their singular system, their version of the so-called quote-unquote PayPal at the so-called federal level. I'm not concerned, and neither should you be. Participation in what we make available allows the melanated man and woman across this planet to say, don't care either. They can come with us and participate within our global common market, establish their business inside the Amexem-Moor-Empire. Instead of funding and participating in the crazy that they're all afraid about. They're so afraid of. No need for that. Calm down, everyone. And I'm going to ask when we leave here today, go for a walk and deep breathe. Give thanks for food, clothing, and shelter, life, health, and strength. Keep the Imperial Council and I in the ethers that we do wise things in your service, that we make wise decisions in your service, that we are frugal in your service. Keep my Imperial Ambassadorship in the ethers, that they carry out what the Imperial Council and I agree to get done for all of you. Please, I need you all to relax, to focus, study, read the books on the mandatory book list, the training materials you get when you report for duty and training. Go over it, break it down, master it. The further you come into our training, the less relevant the colonizers and hostiles and the melanated puppets become. Stop giving them power they don't have. Stop letting them live in your head rent-free. Relax, chill. The Imperial government on my watch, we got you.